And we are live. Welcome to everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me say podcast. I am your host, Ray. With me today, as always, Father.
Happy Pride Month, and Pose is one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
And we also got First Black Ginger.
Woo!
And like always, if people want to come and drop by, they'll come and drop by. So fellas, what do you want to start with? Do y'all want to start with AEW or do y'all want to start with ADOS?
AEW.
All right. Basically, AEW was on last week, and it was a phenomenal show. And I don't want to say I didn't have high hopes for it. I just didn't know anybody. Not like our other two counterparts. They, but even then, me not knowing anybody, I liked the show. I thought they put on a phenomenal show. And what do you guys thought about it?
So I thought it was a great show. It The thing I love about AEW is that it reminds me why I watch wrestling. I watch it for like the theatrics, I watch it for the athleticism, and I watch it for the heart. You know what I'm saying? And AEW had all three.
Yeah.
So
Um,
like it was cool. It was cool that they were able to showcase all of that in just their first show alone. Like, bruh. And not
technically,
yeah,
that's the second show.
and not only that, like they were talking about the buy rates, and it was pretty high. Like the buy rate was pretty high for their first show, so it shows that they're in a really good direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I have nothing but I wish nothing but success for them in the near future. You know, I do expect they're going to hit their rough times because every wrestling company does. But if they can, just go past those, then they'll be fine.
Mm. Um, I enjoyed it. One thing I had to do was get out my mind of how like the WWE pacing when watching it. Because at first I was like, I'm not enjoying this. The endings, because the way they ended, didn't quite have that pacing that I'm used from that A. But the matches are good. I think they might have to, probably learn on some camera angles. Whatever that, but really is good. I mean, nothing's gonna be perfect. And me botches we see in Dead AE on a weekly basis. Um, I always been a big fan of tag teams. I'm happy they had a lot of tag team matches. I don't know, but it was a good show. It was a great show, and all out. Can't wait for it. I'm, I'm also happy that I don't know. Some people probably mad about it, but I'm kind of happy they're not doing pay per views every like month or every other month. It brings a little bit more back to the pay per view, so that some of them just being a glorified house show compared to WWE.
I think the only reason WWE do them every month is because of the network. You ain't gotta
They were doing that. They were doing that before the network.
No, they were doing They were like doing two pay per views a month because there was a brand split, Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, but before that, they were doing one every month. And if I remember, but doing the first split, they did it. Technically, it was every 2 months. Every pay per view, every Raw would have a pay per view 1 month. Then it'd be SmackDown. Then after they went, but they were still doing pay per views every month. And then when they had the Blast Spirit, they did two every month. Which then I'm happy they stopped because it didn't really make sense to me anyway. And now they're back to shoot. I mean, just counting that A one, there's still something too close. There's a Super Show in Jeddah. Well, I don't know. It's probably not considered a pay per view, but it's only
It's
two. Like,
considered. They said it's the equivalent to WrestleMania.
so okay, yeah. So, but it's still kind of close when you think about it. They technically doing it on Saturday over there. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I thought it was a great show too. It was. I think for me, it's I put a lot of emphasis because I'm seeing a lot of wrestlers that I don't see or like I wouldn't know, so I get to see all their moves and what they're capable of. Like the I was gonna call them the Hardy Boys, but the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. I kind of like that. And now I know who the Young Bucks are, but I didn't know who the Lucha Bros are. I end up liking the Lucha Bros a little bit more than the the Young Bucks. But then again, I'm a sucker for Lucha Libre wrestling.
Well, I knew who they were, but that's from Lucha Underground, Pentagon Junior and Phoenix. Phoenix. I remember.
I've been watching Lucha Underground since like the first season, so I knew who they were.
Yeah.
I
And
don't
plus, they were on TNA for a while too.
Mm.
Actually, Pentagon was world champion in TNA.
I don't get Lucha Underground, so I wouldn't like I said
You
I
got
wouldn't.
Hulu?
Huh?
You got Hulu?
You know what? I could never find it.
I know it was on Hulu and they on Netflix with old seasons anyway. They go by the season. I want to catch up, but there's so many. There's so many. It's a honestly the way to describe Lucha Underground is good. It's good wrestling. It's a it's a novella,
Yeah, no,
telenovela.
they actually kill people off on shows,
Oh
and
yeah.
TNA they'll kill you off.
I mean, I think it adds something a little different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
like it's basically how Hernandez described it. He's like it's basically a wrestling equivalent of Mortal Kombat.
I would say it's more like a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with more comic booky than Mortal Kombat, even though Mortal Kombat is a comic. But
Well, I
I,
mean, I think he described it that way just because it's like somebody grabbing a bunch of fighters and it can be fights to the death. It's uh, what's his name? A thousand deaths. I forget his Morte. You
El
know,
Muerte.
yeah,
El
Morte.
Muerte.
His manager's basically like death herself or something. Yeah, I mean, I can see that how you got that.
yeah,
I just see, but uh, and also AEW Championship look real nice.
it's an
It's,
okay belt. I've seen better.
I mean, of course it's better, but
it's grand enough for a championship. I
yeah,
think the best looking belt is the NJPW belt
mm.
and the NXT UK belt too.
That's a beautiful belt. The New Japan belt. That's a very beautiful belt. Um, I think the Intercontinental belt is a real beautiful belt too, but that's just me
Mm.
For where?
for WWE.
Oh yeah, because they used the classic one. That's
Mm.
the one Cody Rhodes brought back.
Ah, okay, that explains
Yeah,
why.
when he was champion, he was holding the one from like that they was using since like 2003 2004. Then he bought
Uh,
it back to like the old school one,
Mm.
the Pat Patterson belt.
I just learned
uh,
that Pat Patterson was once the hardcore champion. I forgot about that.
he was running.
Mm.
I think I remember. Also, it did make me look up a bunch of other wrestlers, and for some reason, I looked up Orange Cassidy, and I think Orange Cassidy is probably one of the funniest dudes in wrestling because of his nonchalantness.
Mhm.
Because when I saw him go up against Tommy Dreamer, he was doing them kicks, and everybody was just telling how like dangerous his kicks is, even though they have no motivation in them. I was like, I need to look up some of his matches. So I looked up him and what's it, Chris Danielson and the gentleman with the mask on. I forgot his name.
Jimmy Havoc,
Is it Jimmy Havoc?
the Edge Lord that came out at the end.
No, 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 no. The it's an indie wrestling match that Orange Cassidy put on. It was just him and it was like wrestling circus. The thing was called wrestling circus. I'll look it up, but it made me look up him. It made me look up the Lucha Bros, Luchasaurus. I wasn't looking up Nyla Rose for shit because no. Um,
What? It's private. You can't be like that.
I I saw Sonny Kiss and I said, "Oh God!" So I, and woo, I'm glad they got an openly gay wrestler in there. But I don't know if they're gonna do anything with him. But
Let me see.
I don't even think it's that much of a big deal. They've been having gay wrestlers. Then we had Darren Young. Pat Patterson was the first ever Intercontinental Champion. He was gay since the '80s.
But he wasn't out the closet.
I
yeah, he
mean,
wasn't.
I
He
mean, yeah, he
wasn't.
wasn't out the closet, but I don't think that makes a difference.
Mm.
I don't know. This one is really flat. Sonny Kiss is
Yeah,
like
I mean,
really.
yeah, this one's really flamboyant, but I'm just saying, if
I
he
mean,
gay, he gay, whether he flamboyant or not.
we're not. Yeah. I mean, we got two. I don't know if they straight or not. We don't know their sexuality. It don't really matter. But I mean, there's three wrestlers that kind of flamboyant when they come out. This Fandango, Prince Pretty, and Velveteen Dream.
Yo,
What's his
I
name?
believe
Orlando Jordan is by.
You,
Orlando Jordan was by. He really never got a good chance either in neither TNA nor WWE.
No,
you
he
know
had
what?
a good chance in WWE. He won a title.
I know he won the title, but they wasn't like pushing him.
Yeah, he was part of the JBL club.
Mhm.
His cabinet.
His cabinet. I need you to last more than 25 seconds out there. Can I depend on that?
It was him. I remember it was JBL, Orlando Jordan, and the Basham brothers.
I remember that too. I don't know, but I know he did. He did. I would say this. He did better on TNA, in my opinion, than he did on WWE.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I never
I
watched. I
disagree.
never really got to watch TNA like that or Impact as it
I
is.
feel like if it wasn't for his WWE career, he probably wouldn't be wrestling in TNA. Because he was a pretty solid mid carder in WWE, and this was back when JBL was the man, like the top heel and the longest reigning SmackDown World Champion. Well, not
But
World
I
Champion,
mean,
but like the WWE Champion. Like that was his belt.
I'm gonna look back on that. You're probably right, but I'm gonna look back on it. I'm gonna look because I don't know. I feel like he was like promoted better in TNA, but you're probably right because that JBL club was a like big thing. It especially helped out JBL, but the cabinets they was really good too.
mhm, mhm.
Also, what did y'all think about the Kenny Omega Chris Jericho match?
It was good.
It was good. It was a good main event. It didn't blow me away, but
Mhm. I
you
know
know what
some
I'm saying.
people mad that Chris Jericho won for some reason.
I'm glad he won. Actually,
I think they should put the belt on Jericho, but that's just me.
yeah. I'd rather he hold the belt than what's his name, Hangman Page.
Adam
I,
Page.
I hate that
you
name.
know, that's who they try to promote. Like that's gonna be their guy, Hangman Page.
Mm.
I rather I know Pac wasn't there, but I'd rather it be Pac. Maybe it's just I'm a big Adrian Neville fan, but I'd rather it be Pac.
That is his name, Pac.
Yeah, I know. I just call him Neville. I still call him Neville still, but
Yeah, Neville stuck.
yeah. What's the I like that hill. What's his name? MJB. I keep calling him MJB, but
MJF.
MJF. Okay.
Yeah,
He's kind of like a copycat Miz. I don't know. I like him, but you go.
Oh, MJF was getting rave reviews on Twitter. Everyone say I love this man,
mhm.
and then I said he's the love child of Alberto Del Rio
And the
and
Miz.
what's his name?
Then you, I thought you said the Miz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alberto Del Rio and the Miz.
that's what I look at. He's like the Miz, but more of a dick.
Yo, I didn't see the battle royale, but there was a no leg wrestler in there, and MJF called him. He called him Lieutenant Dan. I was like, that's so fun. But I'm fucked up for laughing.
Yo, it took me a while to realize there was someone in there with no legs. I was just, and then I'm not gonna lie, I hit the Forrest Gump remark. It was like Lieutenant Dan, you ain't got no legs.
He called He yelled that at him. He yelled something about Lieutenant Dan at him in the battle royale.
But
Did you see?
also, what did y'all think about John Moxley coming to AEW?
First of all, the way they did it was amazing because he came out at like the last 2 minutes of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way he came out. Like the match is all done. Jericho's celebrating. You know what I'm saying? You know he's popping off. Then John Moxley just comes out Shield style, and I think that was a shot to WWE.
I think so too. There was a lot of shit. Obviously, the Cody Rhodes chair thing, but which, by the way, me and Philip agree, Brandy Rose was fine as hell. But
She always been fine.
Yo, when I saw her announcing as what was her name? Eden.
Eden
Eden.
Yeah,
Style.
yeah. Her name was Eden.
Eden. I was just like, who's this beautiful woman? Then I found out she was married to Cody Rhodes.
Before JoJo, there was Eden,
You're
and
right.
before her, there was Crystal.
Yeah. Oh, Chris was fine.
Then
Yeah, that was a fine
Crystal
motherfucker.
was
I don't think I
fine.
seen Crystal. They got a new black one down there now. I can't really, I don't see her face too much. But.
She was doing NXT with her natural hair. Uh,
Oh man, I'm happy that the boys won the gold tonight.
Adam Cole, baby.
Oh fuck Adam Cole. I ain't talking about him. I said the boys.
Adam Cole ain't your boy?
No, you see you. I don't care about white people right now. Adam Cole can get a shine.
Oh, you talking about Street Profits?
Talking about the boys, the street profits.
Yeah, that was a little vague, my man.
I said the boys.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry.
it could have been Hardy Boys. It could have been Steiner Boys. What
The
boys?
boys won the gold tonight. We only think one of the Hardys are broken. I said
But yeah, shout out to the Street Profits. Bianca Belair is a happy married woman.
They got married?
they've been married.
Yeah,
No, I
Montez
know they
Ford
was
and
engaged.
Bianca Belair are married.
I thought they was engaged. I didn't know they was married.
They've been married for a year now, maybe more. Let me see.
Damn, I'm late.
Yeah, shoe boots.
He gets so busy. He's like fucking with you. He be
That's
so
why I keep saying it.
Shout out to Shoe Boots. He's back in Virginia. Speak to stay on the John Moxley thing. Did any of y'all listen to the podcast? The
no.
I ain't
Tony
listened to the
podcast?
podcast, but I got all the I got the gist of it.
You got to, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. You don't need to watch the podcast to get all the gist of it. But I've watched it anyway,
I'm gonna
just
still
like I watched
here.
Popcorn. I just wanted to watch it
Well,
or listen.
I know some people don't always. I mean, in cases of stuff like the thing with Aisha, I've seen some things with her words. People like twisted her words or omitted things. Like I seen one article that tried to make it seem like her anxiety and stuff came. Would they try to make like she was taking medicine because she wasn't getting male attention or something, not that she had an anxiety problem. That's why I always like going back to the source because people always twisting things.
Uh, so what did y'all think about the interview?
Um, I honestly, he didn't really say a lot of things I kind of didn't already know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one thing that stood out to me was when he was talking about remember how they turned him heel and then he had to do that little doctor thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. He said that was Vince McMahon's idea. And Dean Ambrose at the time was like, bruh, this shit's not gonna work. I keep telling you it's not gonna work. And then Vince is like, yeah, you can make it work. Just do it. I think it's funny. So then he does it, and like he's mad. He's been seething for a year at that point, actually. He said that it was like that year he was just seething. Cause like his ideas wasn't getting listened to. Vince McMahon just kept doing dumb shit.
We had
Like,
heard the story before.
yeah. So
You said
it's
that
like,
about Brock Lesnar. That's why I really think that's where it started with
yeah.
Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he said Brock Lesnar was lazy,
So
but he got all the blame for
yeah.
that.
So I think that segment was like that was like all right. You know what? That's it. I can't do in this company.
We heard the story before. He had the same feeling. I think he just left before he was completely hopeless about it, completely unhappy. Like like CM Punk.
Yeah,
He said the same thing CM Punk did. I just think he left way before he just had. To me, it has to take a lot for somebody to be drained of their passion. Something you've been what CM Punk been doing this since 15. I'm not sure how long John Moxley been doing it, but
He was basically the same way. He was like he grew up loving wrestling. Like promos was his favorite thing, and and then WWE made him load promos. He was like, I used to look forward to promos. Now I load it every time they say go do one.
mhm. Yeah, I remember CM Punk saying the same thing. They hand him cards, and he's like, "I'm not saying this." Then he'll rip them up. Sometimes he didn't look at them. He's like, "I'll rip them up as soon as they give it to me." He's like, "That's not how you do it." Like,
and I think that's the issue. The people who can do promos naturally, they're still trying to plan shit for them. It's like, bruh, CM Punk literally sat crisscross applesauce and gave one of the greatest promos of all time. You don't need to give that nigga no damn cards.
mm-hmm.
Shoot, AJ Lee when she did her little pipe bomb.
Woo!
I was just watching that a while ago too, and for some reason I rewinded because I was like, I think it was Bree because you can see Bree legitimately getting pissed off, and I used to think it was like a work, but she was like legitimately pissed off about that shit.
She was pissed off because it was true. AJ Lee was saying everything the fans have been saying for the longest time. You're not wrestlers, you're models. And then
I
she
hate how
said,
they.
no, when she said sucked up, and I was like, yep, that's it.
I always hate how they try to give the Bella Twins credit for the Divas Revolution. I was like, I mean, the women's wrestling evolution is just like, really, really, ew. One of them had to retire because she just couldn't shake that ring rust. I
I
forget what you.
mean, what? When
I
you,
do think people are a little bit too harsh on the Bellas. I don't think they're that terrible.
I would say they tried. I would.
Yeah,
That's a, that's what I was. To me, that's what I think about the Divas division. They tried. Like
But
they
they didn't
weren't.
get no.
Some of them wasn't that good, and then you had people like Naomi who was like too good. She had to like dumb it down.
It was also they got 5 to 10 minute matches. I mean 5 minute matches. You really can't do
Yeah,
shit. For
they got
they were
tired of
just
5 minute
back and
matches
forth.
and being like marketed as like just sideshow, as like a sideshow.
yeah, just be out there, go out there. I think what her in one interview was like, go out there and be sexy. What? Yeah, it's always been reported that Vince also they also say Vince keeps saying that people don't want to see women wrestle like the guys.
Which is a damn lie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another like I think we've been everybody's been saying this is like people, but to me, Dean Ambrose said the same shit I said. Dean Ambrose said Vince is going to die on that throne, which is basically what I'm saying. I said a lot
Oh,
of people like waiting for Vince to retire, and I'm thinking he's not going to retire.
no, he a businessman. Business people don't retire. They barely go on. They don't retire.
Yeah,
Business.
and that's how I feel. It's like he's in better. He's probably in the best shape of anybody in his age bracket. He's great. He's in great health. I said that man is going to die. Even if he goes to XFL, I feel like he's still going to have a say so with the WWE.
Mm-hmm. I actually want XFL to fail, but I don't know why.
No, I wanted to succeed so he can go do that. For real, like
I got you. But from what I hear, it's only gonna be well, he will be running a year round, but supposedly only gonna be running. I mean, the smart thing it's a smart thing to do, but they're gonna try to get it to play during the summer because I think what the first time were they trying to compete with NFL the first time? I don't even
First,
remember.
I mean, yeah, they were
that's
the first time, but
that's going to
Vince
be
just didn't
dangerous
have
if
the
they
money.
run it in the summer because somebody's going to die of heat exhaustion. That's why I feel like they run it in the winter because to prevent heat exhaustion. And
But
I've heard so many stories about college kids dying in the summer because of heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
mm,
So That's the other thing I worry about the XFL. But that's just me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be hard to run coexisting with the NFL. They own a day of the week,
No, you're right about that. Um,
and like I think Father was answering me. He's like, I think they tried to do that last time he brought up the XFL, and it didn't work. I can't remember.
I think they should go to spring and summer. Maybe that's what they're doing during the spring and summer or something like that. But
And probably do like arena football. Keep it inside, like in some air conditioning.
mm. So, okay. What else did y'all basically get from this John Moxley interview? What up, Tony?
What up, man?
We was just talking about AEW and the John Moxley interview that he did on Talking Jericho. Did you see that?
Nah, I didn't see that junk.
Oh, is that so? Have you heard about it or done that? No.
Nah, I didn't hear about it. I seen it like on Facebook and shit, but I ain't nothing about it. With
But long story short, have you seen the CM Punk interview when CM Punk was doing this interview and he was talking about the WWE?
nope, I ain't see that
You
either.
saw
You know the CM Punk one?
You said what?
I said you never saw the CM Punk one either.
Nope. I didn't know it was a CM Punk.
Oh, that one was years ago. That one, I would say, the Dean Ambrose one is more sad, but you kind of knew this shit was happening. To me, the CM Punk one, even though it was sad, I don't know. I kind of laughed through it because the way CM Punk was telling the story,
he was going on people. That's why.
like the whole like
Oh, this
them talking about
when
when
he
he had to work for Roman Reigns.
when he had that.
Somebody,
When he said he had that shit.
what? You said staph infection?
Somebody be on the radio.
You
Breaking up.
you breaking up, Playboy? Playboy.
Oh shit.
Ooh, so down since day one. Get me down since day one. You knock them on. Shit. I'm about to make Street Profits thing music my ringtone.
Are you gonna be drinking out of red cups?
Do I look like you?
What's wrong with
Yeah.
red cup? I was saying you gonna support the street profits, but you're not gonna drink out of red cup.
Now I'm trying to make out. Oh, see, look, I was about to make that my cover photo, but now I don't. Uh,
Lord Jesus. Um. So, y'all want to talk about ADOS now?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
ADOS. Is that what was that again?
American Descendants of Slaves.
Take it away, Father.
hmm So, so basically, ADOS is like a lineage movement, and it's for like black people in America who can trace their ancestry back to slavery. And the reason why they're doing that is because they want to they want to get their reparations. And part of the reason why they emphasize the fact that they're American descendants of slaves is because part of their reasoning is that black immigrants kind of blend in because they're black, and they take what is actually supposed to be for black Americans. So they want to be able to have that claim so they can they can reap the benefits of the programs that were meant for them and not have to be second fiddle to black immigrants that come here. Another reason is because they're not getting adequate representation in they're not getting adequate representation in politics. Whenever politicians are running for president or running for office, it's always people of color, minorities, and stuff like that. So they want to be able to, claim their piece of the pie, basically. and separate from like black immigrants and um, other other minority groups and shit like that. So I think it started in social media. There's like two founders. One of them is Breaking Brown, Yvette Carnell, I think her name is, and Antonio Moore from who does this thing called Tone Talks.
I've
They're
heard
like
you
the
talk.
two founders of the ADOS movement. So and Tariq now she's like a big supporter of it too. So you know he's always talking about he uses the term foundational Black Americans because he think because black people you know through slavery they built the foundation of America. They fought in all the wars. They you know basically built the infrastructure of America through slavery, all of that. So he likes to use that term foundational Black Americans.
So let me ask you this: what is your what is your sole opinion on the ADOS? Do you feel like they should get theirs first, or because I'm not gonna lie, my father while I was looking at this and my father was looking at it, even though he's born in America, he also thinks it's bullshit because it's like it's a world system. Like it's like not just like America was affected, but the islands was affected and South America was affected. So he thinks it's more of a world system than just ADOS, I guess. So what do you think?
So, I mean, I support the ADOS just off their, you know, just off their basis alone. They are a group that wants their reparations. They are a group, you know, that feels like they haven't been given what is entitled to them, which I agree with. But the only thing that worries me is some of them are kind of xenophobic. And I'll give you an example. Um, I mentioned the black immigrants thing, how they
Mm.
don't really want black immigrants to, you know, be part of it because they wasn't born or raised in America or someone like me. Like I was born in America, but my parents are immigrants, so I wouldn't be able to claim ADOS, obviously. So because of that, you know, they some of them be on that xenophobic shit and be like, oh, you Nigerians come over here and you eat off us, and you know, shit like that. They just sound some of them be sounding real bitter, and
They sound like the white man.
yeah, that's another thing a lot of people were saying. They sound like white people. And I mean I understand where it comes from because they're calling out, you know, black immigrants, Caribbeans and Africans that think they're like better than black Americans because they have like a culture or whatever. I've seen that. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about that for days. But to kind of blanket it, you know what I'm saying, is like wrong because I'm sure if you go to those countries, they're not talking that mess about black Americans. You know, it's usually the ones that are born here that hang out with a bunch of white people that say that shit.
Right.
Or the ones that you know whose parents bought into the whole blacks white supremacy thing where they'll watch the news and they're always seeing black people getting incarcerated. They're always seeing negative images of black people just doing drugs and shit like that. So that too can have an effect on how certain black immigrants can view black Americans who come to America. But but the same thing can also be said for black Americans who talk trash about Africa and the Caribbean.
Mm.
Because whenever you see Africa like on TV, it's always mud huts and everyone is so poor, flies around babies' faces, and everyone got Ebola or some damn AIDS. So it's like it works both ways, and I think ADOS is kind of turning a blind eye on that aspect of white supremacy, even though they say they aren't. So it's like I understand what y'all saying, and y'all have a point. Y'all just using the wrong damn language. Instead of
Oh,
xenophobia, you know, like we can have a discussion about it, and we've been having discussions about it. But the way y'all going about it is kind of wrong, because I'm pretty sure because it's like what your father said, Ray. You know, it is a worldly thing, but at the same time, there is a specific group in America that they go through those atrocities, and you know they can find their roots. I mean, of course, they can find their roots back in Africa because they're African descent, but at the same time, they do have a legitimate claim when it comes to, you know, the foundation to this country. So it's like I see it both ways, but I do agree with ADOS at the end of the day.
Okay, so let me ask this question: what type of reparations do you think we should get? Because I know some people, when they hear reparations, they think of money, but I feel like we could like always ask for land. If I was to me, if I was like, if they asked me for reparations, I would probably ask for land more than money. I would rather own something than like you just give us money because obviously, like if anyone seen that Chappelle skit, and the
Yeah,
first one thing that always guys all the time, like a bunch of niggas got money, and the white guy said they're really quick to giving us the money back that we owe them.
Mhm.
So I've always been like the person's like, I would get land or at least try to own land. But what do you think? What type of reparations should we get if we get any at all?
I do think they should get some sort of cash payout. And the only reason I say that is because with that, because like let's say we do get land, right? There could be conditions to that land because they do the same thing with Native Americans with their lands. That's why the whole remember that whole pipeline shit that they were trying to do back up there in the northwest.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the issue I think would come up if you try to just give us land. They could just be like, oh, we want to develop something here, and technically it says in the contract, and try to run that game on you. So I feel like with a cash payout is much more tangible because at least you have it in your hand instead of just land that you could probably you could use, but there can be a condition to it. You know what I'm saying? Um, because I heard Tariq Nasheed also talking about it too. He says he wants a check. You know what I'm saying? If he as long as he has that check, he can develop his own land in certain parts, either in America or Africa or the Caribbean, or provide infrastructure for those that need it. So he says, "Give me that check. I want that check." You know what I'm saying? So I do think a monetary payout at the end of the day is probably going to get the job done more than like land and shit. But if it is land, it's not a bad thing. It's not like it's a bad thing. So
what do you think, Phil?
Um, as a whole, I'm not sure what we should get, but I take a check. But but would that check? How much would that check really be? I'm not even sure.
I think that's another conversation. Like,
Hmm.
how much would they give us?
Would it be to a single person, or would it be to a whole family? Where you have to find the
okay, so technically in order to receive reparations, you kind of have to have like a place to go to. To give you an example, when the Jews got reparations for the Holocaust, they only got reparations because they had a land they could go back to, which was Israel. Israel was given to the Jews, in of course in heavy controversy. But when they had that, the Jews were able to receive their reparations. So the fact that black people don't yeah, black people have America, but so does white people. So it's like, okay, if you're claiming America as your home, then you're gonna need to provide evidence that you are not indigenous to this land, but you have to prove that like you are an American, and that could be difficult because they could always pull that trick back of, well, your roots are back in Africa or your roots are back in this way. So the Native Americans, like they got reparations, but in the form of casinos and keeping their lands and shit. But honestly, do you ever really hear in the news of Native Americans doing anything big or doing anything that's like newsworthy? Like, can you
Nope.
think of the last time you heard of like Native Americans doing something big with their reparations?
hmm,
No.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, the closest thing I've heard Native Americans being in news is when that one dude he beat the drum with the MAGA kid.
Yeah,
But that's
who
not
did the
as
kid?
far as what they're talking about. No.
yeah.
Who did
So
the kid
it's like
shoot?
it kind of becomes a slippery slope, especially that rule where you kind of have to have like a designated land or like a plate or like a place,
Mm-hmm.
that's set in stone that they can pay reparations to. Because actually, Haiti paid reparations to France. I don't know if y'all know that.
To France, or did France pay to them?
No, Haiti had to pay France
Why they
because
had
of
it?
the revolution. They found some
Oh,
loophole. They found some bullshit,
yeah, I
and
remember.
Haiti had to pay France a shitload of money that they did not have because obviously they're a new country. They got their independence, and then they hit them with that. That's why Haiti's so damn poor.
Yeah, yeah, I think I did see a video on it. It was like something they kind of tricked them in a way.
Yeah,
Where they did trick them, they did scam them.
yeah, exactly. So it's like when we talk about reparations, we always wanna talk about like, oh, I just want to check. I just want to get a check. I just want to get a check. But like you gotta you have to read in between the lines because you know how these power structures are. They'll find some way to fuck you in the end.
Right.
Fuck you or fuck you, fuck you. So no, don't answer that. I'm being stupid.
Okay. Shoot. So let me ask you a question because there's like a bunch of like one thing I know like there are black people that are against it. Some like Talib Kweli. So why do you think like some people would be against like ADOS?
Number one, they're probably Pan Africans. They're probably Pan African.
Mm.
I know a lot of Pan Africans that got huge beef with ADOS. Well, I'm gonna put it how Umar Johnson put it. He
Okay.
doesn't have an issue with ADOS, but his three main things are basically what your father said. Last time I checked, there was slavery in the Caribbean, there was slavery, in all these other places, and Pan Africanists believe that all black people are like one family. So to separate yourself, there kind of is no point because you'll just be fighting a losing battle. So and of course the xenophobia because some of the ADOS people, whew, they be talking about that go back to Nigeria, go back to Ghana and shit like that. So it's like, ooh, y'all kind of sounding like these my guys. I'm seeing build that wall from ADOS people and shit like that to like Hispanic people. I'm like, okay, there's definitely some, and and they're not being checked on it. So it's like, is this really what you want your people to be represented as? So it's like, and most of the debates that I've also seen on the topic from people who disagree, their particular main reasoning is that, okay, let's say you do get those reparations. What about let's say you do get those reparations? How is that going to benefit the diaspora? You feel what I'm saying? Because if you good and you eating, and we not good and we not eating, what does that mean for the rest of us? And ADOS is like, no, we doing for self. We doing for self. We're our own little tribe and shit like that. So that's why like a lot of people kind of have an issue with it. But then again, it's subjective because like people like Tariq Nasheed that support it, when they go after like the black immigrants, he only goes after the coons. He
Mm,
don't go after like the whole collective. He points out the coons. So
the
it's like,
boule.
yeah, like when he was going after Roland Martin, which is funny as hell, by the way. That Roland the Boule bird shit that he does, that shit kills me every time. But
Yo, that shit is hilarious. The bleep bleep
that
bleep
shit,
bleep with my hood.
that
Bleep.
shit kills me every fucking time. But to get back on topic, when he talks about Roland Martin, because Roland Martin's actually from Haiti. His folks are from Haiti. So that's why Tariq Nasheed kind of has a not that he's Haitian that he has a problem with, but if your parents are from another country and you don't have that lineage in this specific country, who are you to talk about issues that we're dealing with? Which is kind of not fair because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you come from Liberia. It doesn't matter whether you come from Jamaica. If you black in America, you black. They don't see no they don't see no, oh, you Nigerian, oh, you Trinidad, like you black.
I did watch a thing. It was with an Asian dude. I forget his name, and he said, his father came here and didn't see the differences, but he does because he grew up here. He grew up here more, a little longer than his father did, and he's like speaking to him like there's a lot of injustice here. And his father said, "I didn't see it coming from where I'm coming from." So, but it also goes to what you said. I do get hate, get on people. Oh, I'm not this, I'm that. But at the end of the day, they coming to lynch us. They lynching all of us because we all got the same color, but we all got to drop.
Exactly.
Did y'all did y'all see the thing about people wanting to revoke Logic's N-word use?
I thought that was a
Who's
joke.
in reviews?
Say again, Ray.
I thought that was a joke. I know people's like people do sign petitions and all that stuff, but I also think that was like a joke.
I don't know. Was well looking in the comment sections of it. Some of them people, there were some people probably really down for it. There are people out there arguing back and forth. You remember how you said why? I know we always get into the thing of why he's always got to rap about it, but there was people in there going back and forth. That man ain't black. I don't care what his father look like. He white. That ain't his real father. That's his stepfather. All kinds of shit like that.
That's a non-issue to me, though.
Yeah, that's to me. It's just like to me. It's just like them being funny. And
To you, but I told you
but
this
here's
1,000
here's
times
the thing.
before.
Logic. Here's the thing. Why I say that because Logic is so easily picked on, and he does it. To me, he does it to himself. I
Yeah,
feel. I feel like if he doesn't, because that's my problem with Logic as a rapper with some of his stuff when he do talk. It's okay to talk about it. I do understand, like especially him being biracial and all that stuff. It's one thing to talk about it, but the way he talks about it is kind of whiny.
Yeah,
Right.
and like I said before, he can be very cringy.
I think that's all a matter of perspective from y'all because I was maybe because I went through similar
No, no, because a
maybe
lot.
because I went through similar things through it to it. I'm sorry. I see it different, and I think that's what it is.
I
I
mean,
mean, whether
a
you
lot of
see it
people
different
find
or not, it's
biracial too.
still
It no whether you that's what it is. A lot of things are perspective because you
yeah, and I'm agreeing with you.
okay.
But that also means that within Logic's case,
Mm.
that's why I said he could come across as cringy. Because when you just repeating yourself, when people get the damn point, what is you saying? What
But
is
that
you saying this for again?
yeah, but
Get it?
that's why I was getting that you get it, Ray get it, I get it. But there's some people who gonna refuse to get it or just learn
Then
it.
then then that's them. If you gotta repeat yourself for people who's still not gonna get it, that you
But
just
what
gotta
about
charge it up to the game then.
the new people who come in or the people who like our boy Q. I remember one of the first time talking about Logic to him was like, "Oh, I don't like white rappers." Like, did you give him a chance? Nah, because he's white.
He loves Eminem. Don't let him get to. He loves Eminem. He fucks with Eminem heavy. He's just being funny when he says that. That's another. That's just me knowing Q. He just like being funny when he says that because
I mean,
I'm.
if that's the case, if it's someone new, then when they listen to his old shit and he says it then they should get it. Because he says it multiple times.
Well, this last one,
He
I
doesn't
don't.
need to keep saying it
Well, this last time, I don't think he mentioned as much as he normally has. I think there,
as much.
I think there was one thing on Keanu Reeves and one other song that I can recall.
And last time I checked, he wasn't even really like even when he was early, he wasn't getting all that, like he wasn't getting all that backlash. Because I remember when he was first coming out with his shit, with his young Sinatras and all that, when he was coming out, a lot of people was digging his shit. He was saying he was spitting raw, like he was saying like a whole lot of good shit. But now it's like with these more recent projects, he's kind of just
Preachy.
I don't know. It's like it's not that he's repeating himself, but he's kind of like beating around the same bush. And it's like, oh, here we go. Cause that's why I got mad at the his latest project. That first song, that thank you song.
Oh, you talking about
When
YS4?
when it first started out, I'm like, okay, this is fucking amazing. This is great. I'm gonna enjoy this.
Was
And then he did the voicemail, and then he did the calls from the fan shit, and I'm like, okay, that's
you
cool.
talking about
But that essentially means I can only listen to you know, like 30% of the song now because you want to put that stuff in. You did the same shit with
I
Take Your
feel
Way
like that's
Back, which is one of the
the outro.
best songs in that album, and I can only listen to like 30% of the song.
To
Two
me, that's
minutes of
the
the song is
outro.
him rapping, and the next 4 minutes is him talking about a story of him being mixed.
I mean, this is art too.
Oh no, no, nah, don't do that.
No, he was it. Which one? Take it back, take it way,
Yeah,
way
that one.
back.
I
And he
mean,
started ranting.
And everyone else had that same fucking criticism.
mm,
Like when what's it called? Dead End Hip Hop said that. A whole bunch of other reviewers on YouTube said that. It's like I want to love that. That's one of the best songs in the album. But 4 minutes of him ranting about being mixed is not the way. Yes, he can rap his ass off. He got bars for days. You can never take that away from Logic. The nigga at the end of the day is on some corny shit.
eh.
Well, that's the. I believe that's our usual logic talk.
Mm.
But staying on the hip hop, I want to talk a little bit. I think because we've had this conversation earlier. I looked at a article from Megan Thee Stallion, and a lot of people kind of look at Megan Thee Stallion as like this new wave of feminism.
Well, they,
So I wanted your opinions on that.
well, I don't know why they're saying new way because I think the only difference is from what I've seen, like on the internet, there's a lot of girls that have been talking like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, the City Girls. It's just these three got a platform to do it now, and some of them, all them girls are not feminine. Some of them cross over into how you pronounce this Chandri, misogyny, whatever the male equivalent of misogynist, misandry, misogyny,
Miss Andre.
misandry. Yeah. Um, I think in some of the girls who have some of the thought patterns are going to connect with them in a way. I believe in a way, and women just I think it's just women. Women gonna use somebody that they feel they can connect with as a symbol now. Is Megan saying she a feminist? She probably will. Probably she may. She may not. But I don't even know where that article from. If it's even about something legit or somebody with some with some credibility to the game, to whatever they're talking about.
I mean, Kotaku's about as real as it gets, but some people don't really look at that as legitimate. So that's kind of I'm not gonna lie. When I read it, I kind of look at it as along Kotaku, but it's still an opinion. I feel like it needs to be discussed because she was talk. Because to me, this is gonna sound a little mansplaining this
Mm,
because I feel like men for some reason we're getting blamed for something that we don't do. We're not a part of, or we're not trying to be a part of.
what do you mean? As far as what?
Okay, because like this whole, you know how I go back and forth with this whole culture shit,
Okay.
and I used to say I don't like it, but I really can't say I don't like it because I obviously got Instagram mug. I follow Instagram mug, so I can't say I hate it.
Okay.
So I was like trying to, but I do think some things should be taboo. But I feel
True.
like when Megan Thee Stallion, someone like a Megan Thee Stallion who raps, I don't find her shit taboo. To me, it's more pimpish than taboo. But I feel like a lot of people, to me, to me, it kind of proves my point that a lot of women do want to be hoes and not be judged by being hoes.
They want the same thing that okay, you're right, but but it's not that they want to be hoes. I think they just want to take control of their sexuality.
But they do, and no one can tell you it, with the exception of these abortion laws, which all of us agree is
Well, wait,
bullshit. But as far as like what they can do, they really can't uh, do what grown man can tell them what to do and what not to do.
I
I
no,
feel like it's subjective though.
yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. No, it's all about what I was getting at before you cut me. I can't even remember. Damn it, Ray. No, they want to take control of it and not work. That's what some of them are. That's where they're getting to now. Where I'm a okay, you call me a hoe is whatever, and honestly, there's a lot of dudes scared of that
Why would they be scared of it?
because they can't control women emotionally like they used to.
It's their power being taken away.
Just like
That's how they see it.
yeah, there we go. Thank you, Father. And and also we all, we are once raised with a certain mindset of how a woman's supposed to act and how a man's supposed to act. That's not ladylike, which is all based off of the
But you know
narrative.
who used to me, but
Now
you
you
know
can
who
talk about
say
your own
that a
woman,
lot? That's not ladylike? Women.
right? Right.
No, no, no. I know
You
you're
can
gonna
talk
say,
about
I know
your
what
own
you're gonna
woman.
say. No,
We,
I know what you're gonna say, but
what I was
let's
gonna
be
say,
real. A
what I
lot of
was
women
gonna say,
say that's not
what I
ladylike.
was gonna say, right?
Huh?
What I was gonna say.
You're gonna say stop looking at stuff from my own perspective.
No, I wasn't about to say that.
What you gonna say?
I don't even remember that, but it wasn't that. No, I wasn't.
I feel like it was that.
Mm-mm.
I feel,
No, if you just let me go before you,
go ahead, Phil. Go.
but I'm just saying now. Make sure you let me get my thoughts out before you finish. Before you want to go. Now, like, okay, what I see it is like, is just different era, different coming up. Um, I was talking to an old instructor of mine from my martial arts school, and what I've noticed is everything's a perspective, and sometimes being both men and women, we tend to look at what the other side can do and not what we can do. Because this one person, he had some legit things like women have all this, men don't have all of that. But on the flip side, women are doing the same thing. We got all this, they don't. So that's where it comes from. He brought up he brought up a good example on how Mother's Day and Father's Day is treated. Um, Mother's Day is like a big celebration for most people. Father's Day is like a 2 hour dinner. You might get some socks in the morning. But on the other hand, some people say Valentine's Day is for women, and it's not. That's just something that people made it to be. It was supposed to be for couples, but there's some people who really make it think it's out for women. There's privilege on both sides that we something we got to both acknowledge. But some people really feel, in some cases, you can see that some other sides are. It might be way more than the other. The reason I feel is way more for men, well, white men especially, just because they're in the positions of power right now. But there's privilege on other, there's things that we see women do. We like, I can do that as a guy. But some of this at the uprising of these certain type of women are just them taking control of things, taking control, not letting people or letting things get to them. I know one girl we went to college with was talking about how she couldn't talk to little boys growing up for some reason. You know what I'm saying? And that was like the first case of her not sexuality, but just like a first reminder of like she wasn't even thinking about it. She was like I was like 5 or something. I just wanted to play with the little boy next door to me because he was my age. When thinking about nothing, no sexuality, it's a lot of stuff put on. Like sitting down and looking at some articles about women, there's a lot put on about them. Put on from an early age. It could be religion. It could be just the way people growing up. It, if all that makes sense to you.
It all sound like double standards.
I mean, it's all double standards. I mean, That's what privilege sometimes is. That's one of the aspects of privilege. Is a double standard in the soul.
Okay, then follow on that question.
Mm-hmm.
You ask you personally, what are some things that women do that you wish that you could do?
That I wish I can do.
Yeah.
She could probably have somebody drop $50 on my my cash app just because I'm cute.
Well, you got a long ways to go. Whoa, you got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Shoot.
But now, I don't know. I never looked at it like that. But some people feel that women just, I know they get things catered to them more.
They're serenaded more,
Yeah,
but there's a
you
reason.
know, some
Yeah,
people, like I said, one person told me they believe, and he's not the only person, not the only guy I heard this from, and where they're like, I see a lot of dudes will tend to do stuff for their girl, and I'm like, that's not wrong, but at some point, I'm like, where do you draw the line for yourself? I know somebody. He was like, he shave his beard every now and then because his girl don't like it. But what about you, bro? Is that part of your look? If she really with you, she gonna have to. My thing is, she might have to get over it.
Hmm.
that's I don't know. That's probably compromise.
Yeah, that sounds like a compromise.
Sounds like
Mhm.
compromise.
But I see a lot of dudes go more one sided on it. Some dudes, not all. Some dudes are like, okay, what's my compromise?
No, don't get me wrong because I've had this argument with this one girl because she was like, I could wear whatever I want and my boyfriend doesn't mind. I was like, have you ever asked him? And her reply was, why should I ask him? Because, and my thing is, well, you
Mhm.
go out as a unit, and let's say, and I gave it this example. Let's say both of y'all, you want to go out to a fancy restaurant, and you tell him to dress nicely, and that man dressed like a slob, and you're with him. You're not going to accept that.
Mhm.
And she said, no. I said, but what if he tells you I can dress what I want, how I feel, and you're just going to have to accept that? You're not really going to accept that because
Mhm.
now, especially if you're in a relationship, and I say this, y'all represent each other.
Yeah,
So if you look bad, I look bad.
but besides
Or
getting bad, sometimes I mean, besides right out looking dirty or disgusting, like
like, but that's why I said he if he comes in like let's say if he comes in dressing like a slob, when you tell him to dress nicely, and because we're going to a big fancy restaurant, you're going to be mad
mhm.
because not only like you like have some type of expectation to him to like at least clean himself up, he didn't even do that. He didn't come to you because you have. I feel like you at least have expectations that I feel like your significant other should meet,
Mhm.
and I have expectations I should for her, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's something you definitely discuss. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so like, and
Mhm.
I say this all the time: if one person is not living up to expectations that I feel like in your personal mind you should set, and you should at least tell the you should tell that significant other. So, but I get, and even with the whole you saying like some people just give me $50 for no reason on Snapchat. I,
Mhm.
I don't know because I mean maybe
Okay.
because I'm watching Twitch a lot. Like I've seen someone like a Maximilian, or even a Ninja, like people just donating them money for no reason.
But they probably donate them because they like was on their page. I
They're
think because
content creators. I don't think that's the same thing.
no, it's not.
No,
They're literally chicks who have their cash app up on their Facebook, their Instagram, and dudes and
But I would more. But I see what you're saying, but I would more put that on the dudes though. The women are just noticing their power.
yeah, and some dudes don't like it. That's one thing I was arguing too. But you backed me up with that earlier. No, I'm just saying it's just a double saying. I know I can do it, but maybe I don't know. I haven't tried, so probably I could. But
okay. What do you think? What do you think, Father?
What do I think? Well, I think it's pretty simple. Like women obviously have power, right? Like
Mhm.
that's just common sense. And the thing about like Western society, especially like in America and shit, we like to downplay that because obviously we want to because a specific person has the most power. So when you put that into context, a lot of the shit that the women not that they're complaining about, but they're trying to fight is that image. Like you shouldn't be the only image that has power. Like women that look a certain way should also have power too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with that, that's supposed to be feminism in a nutshell. It's not just about dudes. It's about both of us having equal power. You shouldn't be hogging all this shit. We should also have a say as well because our power is just as powerful as yours. It's just in different ways.
A woman, most of the time I hear feminism is about a woman making her choices and not because of a man. In a way, it's not that, or society is forcing her that way to be that.
Well, it's not a force if you do it anyway. You can make choices because of a man and be completely fine. Because men do that all the time. We dress for women. We do certain things just to attract women. Women
Mm.
do certain things to attract men. If a woman has a man, she gonna do certain things because she got a man. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. But the issue comes in when it's being forced on them. If that's not what they want to do, then
Yeah,
they shouldn't have. Then they shouldn't have to be coerced into doing that, and they're gonna get their money how they live. That's why sex workers get. That's why a lot of sex workers get shitted on. Yet it be dudes that be looking for the sex workers in the damn first place.
hmm
It's a contradiction.
I agree with you on that because I don't know. I just feel like something's I don't because I've always said this. I'm not going to treat a sex worker the same way I would treat someone like a Michelle Obama.
Why?
Is
Huh?
that
I'm
because Michelle Obama she went to college and she got her money from like degrees in her field and all that other stuff, and then like you got a sex worker that just like they get their money from sex, which is I don't knock it, but if you ask me to like look at you the same way as I would have Michelle Obama, I wouldn't do it.
but I'm still look at you as a person in the end. That's why I'm probably
I
confused.
think I think that's a terrible example.
Yeah,
I think that's a terrible example because you're comparing worth. You're comparing intrinsic worth. So because of Michelle Obama went to college, that assumes that women who go to college are much more valuable than women who don't go to college. Or you're assuming that sex workers don't go to college. I
but
know you're
anyway,
not saying that, but that could be the assumption.
yeah. Thank you, Father.
So
That's
it's
why.
like
That's what it came off to me. I can put
yeah,
it.
that's what it comes across as. So it's not. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong, but what is coming across, the message that you're trying to say, that's where people are going to get that misconception. So it's like, okay, so Michelle Obama got all the damn degrees, she was the damn first lady. To compare that to a sex worker is like that's not a comparison.
So you feel like that's apples and oranges?
Yeah, that's apples and oranges.
Because at the end of the day, regardless of what they do, they should still be getting treated as a woman. Now, I want to say this. Yeah, that's what it really comes down. Like that's what they
Yeah,
try to fight for is that okay? Even though one job is not as her job is not the most luxurious thing there is, you still should treat her as a person, regardless of her job. That's basically what I get from feminists sometimes. There's
or
one like
even regardless of like how she just handles her business in general, because they don't always got to be sex.
yeah,
Women get disrespected for makeup, and
mm,
that's not anything related to sex. Because you know how dudes get, oh my god, you look so much better without makeup, that type shit. And it's like, what if she's not wearing the makeup for you? What if she's wearing the makeup because it makes her feel good?
I know I met some women that say they just like makeup because they think it's cute, literally, and that's all. Yeah, That's why I be upset when we talk about certain things, right? You be like, "Oh, that we." You just go to certain things, and I'm like, "Why?"
Oh,
Can you say that one more time?
Like,
you mean
you
like
know,
I like it wheeze?
like, yeah, it just comes off like so judgmental. I get it if you don't like it, but I don't want to put it in words. I don't know. Shit, I'm not sure how to put it in words, but it's something similar. That's why I be like upset. Like, hey, this is a good looking woman. You go, oh, that weave, that like, bro, why you pointing that out? Like,
I'm big on hair though. That's the thing. Just like Wallace is big on feet, I'm big on hair,
Wallace is not big on feet. He adore feet. He loves them. He's
and
infatuated.
I adore hair.
No, not on the level of Wallace and his feet.
You don't
I don't think
know.
it's about no. I don't think it's about levels, Phil.
I'm fucking with him. Nah, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's just uh, emphasizing the wrong thing at the wrong time. I don't want to say at the wrong time because we.
So like you would rather me look at just her ass than
No,
the whole pack.
sometimes it's not even just the ass. It's just like, hey, it's an attractive woman now. Because everybody can look at something. Because I'm somebody probably out there looking at you, right? Like, oh, he fat. You
Yeah,
probably don't give a shit.
but then again, to me I accept that though. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, but I don't know. It just seems like judgmental when.
Oh,
that's right.
now you going into familiar territory because if we're using that, everybody's judgmental.
Yeah,
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah, everybody
everybody. I mean, you definitely can. Honestly, people say you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, you can.
You
yeah,
can.
yeah.
You can. I'm sorry, but you can.
But if you but how many times like me and Wallace have this thing all the time. I say this all the time. She's beautiful. But man, that weave is terrible. How many times have you heard me say that?
A lot.
I
Yes.
haven't.
And
I
and
haven't
and,
said
and
that.
like 9.5 times out of 10, you're right. You're not saying it just to say it. The weaves do look bad.
The weaves do
If
look
it looks bad, then it looks bad. Just like if you got ugly ass feet, you got ugly ass feet.
bad. Remember, like the whole thing with Wallace and Dion, and the whole thing, like even though Dion was trying to sell Wallace a woman, not literally sell, but he was trying to explain to her the woman. Wallace was saying, "What does her feet look like?"
I
the
need to
whole
know.
the whole time he was like, "If she has unattractive feet, then I'm not going to be attracted to her.
It's gonna bother me.
It's going to bother him."
I mean,
Just like,
because he want toes in his mouth. He ain't gonna put an ugly toe in his mouth.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if I see a girl, and even how beautiful she is, if her weave is jacked,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to bother me. You like, especially like who when we was at AI, and who came with that natural hair, but it was just so buckshotty. It was so out of ordinary, out of place. That shit bothers me. It's like,
Do you necessarily have to comment on it every time you see it?
yes.
No, you don't.
Look, I mean, I don't have to because I'm not dating her. But if I'm like dating her, I would have to let
Well,
them
right.
know.
So you see a gorgeous girl. She probably her weave can be on his last leg for that put in or something. You gonna turn her down because of that.
Say it again.
She could be ready to change it out that day later, not a day later, but later that day. You gonna turn down a girl?
When she get her hair done, she come holler.
No,
But this here's the thing.
but somebody's
When
not
she
gonna
get her
hold
hair done,
you.
she come holler. Like if I have to go on a date, I have to look clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're going on a date, I have to look presentable at least. But if she's just taking her hair out, at least I would know. She was like, all she gotta say is like, "Oh, I'm just taking my hair out." I'd be like, "Okay."
But why she got to do all of that? I'm not saying you're going on a date.
For me to even talk to her,
Yeah. I
Because
used to.
some things I'm attracted to,
which
or
is
even men,
fine.
which is fine. It's his preference. Everybody has preferences.
Sometimes I think people just put prejudice things behind preference.
So would you date a white woman?
Hmm?
So would you date a white woman?
In my life now, no.
It sounds pretty prejudiced.
I mean, it would probably be my reason to make it prejudice. Not that it would be more in my reason.
It'd be well, a reason, but that's basically all I'm saying.
Or no, put it
No.
this way. Put it this way. You would date a white woman. You will just prefer to date a black woman way more.
Yes, that's a preference.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but you said no though.
Yeah. No. What I Okay, what I'm saying is that some people say, "Oh, I," when they say, "Okay," like I'm gonna go with the brothers who only date white girls. Well, who date white girls because all of them don't. There's the ones who say, "I don't date." I dated this white girl because that's who replied back to me. That's who I get to play from. Or I know somebody said that don't even make sense, and I kind of agree with him. I get what he's saying, but I think it's when you dating if you dating somebody outside your race, or you dating them for reasons that make sense, like, oh, you're actually attracted to this person for their personality and stuff. That's a legit preference. But when you go somewhere like, oh, I don't like dating too many black girls because they usually got attitudes and things like that. I don't think that's a preference. You're not even really dating that other
That's
race.
not a preference.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But some people will use it to disguise their preference. They would use that. They would use preference to disguise that, like, oh, that's just my preference. When it's like that's really not, because the preference is, it's a flexible choice.
Not sure if I'm following.
About people hiding. Okay, I'm trying to say how some people hide their racism and prejudice behind preference. That's why, and I don't like it. In the case of some of the brothers who date women, who date, let's say they date white women or
Ah, shit.
Latina or whatever they date somebody that's non-black or non-American black, and they go, "Oh, I don't date black women because they got attitudes. They stink. I mean, they got attitudes, or something negative." Never really saying that the person they're dating is of good quality. It's always about the other is about the black woman or whatever they're not dating than what they are dating.
Which
Does
is
that
why I
make
call them undesirables.
does that make sense? Well, right. I think Wallace get me.
I get it.
I get it. Which, by the way, I don't do this to women. I do it to men too, because I did it to Zach,
You did
where
what?
he had this one shirt and the collar was just like to his chest, where you can see his taco meat.
Well, I know you do that. Everybody, right? It's just I think it's sometimes just I don't
Oh
know.
no, I don't use it, but anybody who watches this video, it's like I'm just letting them know because I've done this to like men too. Because I feel like you should at least come out the house presentable. I can understand you're like
Yeah.
going to the store or Walmart or something like that, but I feel like if you're going to a place
Hmm.
where you want to mingle with people, you should at least be presentable.
That understandably, like when I realized that I was no longer a smaller guy, I had to start getting bigger shirts because I wasn't looking presentable.
I don't know, those shirts were still kind of tight on.
I was getting fatter. That's the problem, and all my fat was in my gut. So there really no shirt to hide that.
Oh no, yeah. See, but I feel like us men we understand that, but not to follow because we went way off the hip hop misogyny thing. But
No, I was about to bring it back to the. I was
go
about
ahead,
to.
bring it back.
Nah, but as far as like dressing, like somebody pick back to our girl, back to y'all girl, with my girl too, because I love her now. Megan Thee Stallion, I've seen her, somebody after the whole Aisha character thing, somebody he's a bit of a troll, but he started comparing Aisha to Megan Thee Stallion. He picked Megan Thee Stallion to compare it to, and I was like, just tell me you really don't listen to Megan Thee Stallion because you going off how she dressed, because you like let me get a girl like Aisha, you know what I'm saying? She dress wholesome, she stay in the house, that. She intelligent. And he said something like, she intelligent. I was like, that right there told me you don't really even bother to get to learn Megan Thee Stallion. You see, and she don't always in most, not all the stuff she dressed, but most of the stuff she dressed, she really just got on a crop top with a belly out, and usually on some nice pants. Every now and then she might have something showing her ass off, but you don't see that too much. But then I was like, and I got on them because I was like, bro, you don't even know it like that. The girl, she kind of came into rap on not on accident. I mean, she's been rapping since she was 12, but her real major goal was to be in the health. There was to be in healthcare.
My mother was a rapper.
I know that. I say she been rapping since she was, she been writing since she was 12, but her real goal was to be in the healthcare.
That was
And
not
that's
my.
not my words. That's her words.
That was the issue.
She wanted to do something, but then she realized she didn't like blood, but she still wanted to be in there. So I think she went to like health the nursing administration.
That's kind of funny. That's actually funny.
I
But
don't know if you play fighting or really fighting outside.
you in DC, it's probably a little bit of both. It's probably a play fight that's going to legitimately get into a real fight, just like every high school fight I know.
And look,
But going back to the article, I think there's things that I do agree with that, but I don't really. My thing is it focuses on one type of rapper, which is the Cardi B's,
the,
the City Girls, and the Megan Thee Stallions. But
mm,
I feel like a lot of other rappers get ignored, and I think me and someone else said this that this is how you know a lot of women don't listen to hip hop like that. They just listen to what's hot. Because I've been saying this like when you say like men don't respect women lyricists, and I've always said yes we do. And like I bring up a name like a Rhapsody, a Jean Grey,
mm,
a Lauren Hill, and I was like I tell people I said I'm pretty sure y'all have never heard of those artists, and I bet you like any hip hop, any male hip hop parent could name you their favorite female lyricist off the break. So I've always like felt like when it comes to, and this is just my personal opinion, when it comes to most women, when
mm.
they listen to music, they just listen to what's hot, not like hip hop in the whole, because you would know at least your female lyricist,
We
not
got,
you would hype them up as much as you would hype up a Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. And
well, I think them women tend to have more relatable things to them women, right? Now, if she's a
They
hip
have
hop,
more mainstream things, not relatable.
I was about to say, have you heard Layla's Wisdom?
nah,
Listen to Layla's Wisdom. That's
There's a lot of relatable shit in that album.
a lot of relatable
but
shit in that.
I mean relatable to women. So I don't know, like, and they could be just what I'm not. I'm not. Also, don't want to disagree on. I say I'm thinking that's another thing. Not trying to feel like I'm disagreeing with you. I just think that's another thing. Like some of the women just, but there's a lot of people. A lot of people want you right about the popularity thing.
Everybody related to do it, baby, stick it, baby.
Ratchet shit. A lot of women like the ratchet shit.
But that kind of proves my point that most women want to be hoes without having the whole label called on
I don't,
them.
I don't, I don't really think it's that they want to be hoes. I just think there's a whole culture. I just think whole culture is mainstream.
I think it's just them wanting to be able to be free like men in a way when it comes to sexuality.
And that's another thing. If we
It's
was really
like
free, half the people had their dicks out.
Not like that, Ray. Just
Yeah, but you say it free. It's like, but we see naked women all the time, and hell, hell, I've seen naked women to a point where I don't even blink an eye. Like I don't even double take.
I mean, she fine. She fine. You gonna double take?
Shit.
Um,
Look, I don't know about you. Well, I've never been to a strip club before. You know, when I go to a strip club, I'm very selective now.
but nah, right? I don't know. Like I said, everything on perspective, right? And I do think a lot more women are just a lot more rebellious than when we grew up in the '90s.
Uh, I don't know. I've been kind of looking at '90s outfits. There's a lot of.
Oh, they could just have been little
I think.
kids and didn't pay attention.
Yeah, but let's be
I think all the different.
honest. The '90s was way more misogynistic than now.
Yeah, but like a lot of this clothes that people wearing now, people wore in the '90s. I think the only difference between the '90s and now is more women are more curvaceous now. Because let's be real, I like Aaliyah was wearing crop tops and belly shirts.
Mm.
I see a couple movie stars wearing crop tops and belly shirt. Hell, I was watching Friday. Neil Long was in a fucking sports bra and them tight ass leggings. I just think I would say this: it was a little bit more misogyny because niggas was yelling bitches ain't shit and all that other stuff. But I
But
also
you
think
know, right?
there was a side where like there was like respectable women too. Like there was people who was respected women too.
But you know what? Some of this I've learned that a lot of the self-proclaimed hoes, the ones that are like, "Yeah, I'm a hoe," are just really nasty, and but they really take care of themselves most of the time. They just love being in themselves. Or maybe or maybe you're not using, or maybe thinking you saying hoe in a negative connotation, and you don't mean it like that. But a lot of women I just really, from what I'm seeing and what I hear from women, is just them really want to take in control of their sexuality and be able, you know, if somebody, a word can't, if it can't, when a word can't hurt you, it loses its power. When you don't let a word hurt you, it loses its power. And that's why they just like, oh yeah, I'm a hoe, I'm a dress how I want. It's not that they
That's
want
why
to
there
be.
was that slut walk. Shit.
It's not that they want to be hoes. It's just no matter that in some eyes, some dudes' eyes, that they're gonna be a hoe. I know she don't give it up, she a hoe. She give it up, she a hoe.
Yeah, but like half those niggas that say that are undesirable using all of.
Thank you.
You said undesirable. But I mean,
But that's been my argument all the time. It's like, oh, if I dress like this, I could be conservative, dress like a hoe. I said that nigga's probably just mad he ain't getting no shit, so he'll just call you the first name that will
oh
bother.
yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I'm not disagreeing that. I'm just saying that's what they go through. Is just even if I mean, bruh, I've been around some dudes I know that get women that don't look and I heard sometimes out of these dudes. It's a dude we went to high school, and me and him go back and forth on Facebook all day. Good looking gentleman, but now the more I talk to him, the more his personality is becoming undesirable. But physically, he got the height, he got the charisma a little bit. But I'm hearing him talk now, and he's sounding like one of those misogynist guys about something. I think me and him got in an argument because he tried to tag me for his backup in some post about having sex with a girl that was drunk. So we get to talking we go to the inbox and we go back and forth a little bit. I was like, bro, I'm disappointed in you because he's talking about because his comment was on the thing is like, sounds like you're too young to be drinking. And I was like, what that mean? He was like, and as we go back and forth in that inbox, he's like, I'm saying women can't get raped if they don't get too drunk. And I was like, bro, that's no. And he's not an ugly looking guy. He's been so it's not always it's not always the Kodak Blacks that's saying that bullshit.
Let me
Sometimes
ask, can I ask you
sometimes
this?
sometimes it is the nigga that look close to Morris Chestnut or something.
Can I ask you a question then?
They can still be undesirables.
I'm
I
not
was,
saying it
I was
can.
about to ask, that's what I was about to ask. Our favorite, like, let's give an example. Our favorite light skinned guy that we pick on a lot. Not gonna say his name, but you know who he is.
Yeah,
Would you
like
consider him undesirable?
uh, probably personality wise, maybe. Oh, the
Yeah,
way.
because sometimes like you've heard women say, you know, he's cute until he opens his mouth.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay. I would say this: he's not an undesirable. He just does undesirable shit.
Mhm. You just got to learn to not do that. No, I know
Yeah,
what you mean, but sometimes what I'm saying is we gotta. I think we said this. I said this to Father before. There are some people who are undesirable physically and uh, spiritually, mentally. Then there's ones who are not, who are on the outside to to a woman or somebody that he's desirable physically, but then they say some undesirable shit. That's what
I would say instead of him being an undesirable, he's game goofy.
game goofy. He's just young and need to think. Just need a
Well, your
better.
brain don't fully develop until it's 25, so
I don't mean still thinking. There's people 40 who still say dumb shit.
He's game goofy. I
Hmm.
told him his radar's broken, and he gave me the most puzzled look when I said it too. Like, what do you mean it's broken? I'm like, your radar's broken. It's like
yeah.
when a girl says no, you don't think no, you think try again. The radar's broken.
What I think that stems from is two things. Well, on both sides, on the male and woman side about things, it's it's something that we hear all I think hear growing up, but it's not completely explained. One is on the women's side is that they hear men like to chase, which is not true. It was not
It's
completely.
expected of us to chase.
It, well, they've been told. But I've heard women say, "Well, oh, I've been told dudes like to chase, and if they really want you, they're gonna come get you." But on their side, and on our side, I've been think, I remember growing up being telling, "Oh, girls like a dude that's persistent," but we're not really we're giving those blanketed statements and not really shown, not really told in depth what it means. If that makes sense.
You know
Oh,
what I you know what I say to that?
but do you understand what I'm saying before you go to what you know?
Yeah, I get it. That's
And,
what yeah,
and I,
that's what I say. You know what I say to that? Because women say, "Oh, I like a man." Says I said they only take you as far as they at least know they have a chance. If you like give them signs like they're not going
mhm,
like that, they don't have a chance. They're going to go find something else.
mhm. I
And
mean, the same thing.
they're going to go to someone else that's going to show more interest in them. It's like, and then you're going to be wondering like, how come he stopped chasing me? And then this is when you get those 6 months later. You know, I've always liked you, right? And then
Yeah,
like you are saying,
I'm,
"Oh, why the fuck didn't you say something before?"
and I'm saying that's the stuff that we've been hearing all our lives about growing up. That like being in school. Oh, if he hits you, he like you. Shouldn't be telling no kid that. He probably don't like it. He probably just a little mean ass kid. I heard it from the teachers. I heard it from my own mother, own grandmother.
That's iffy because sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's really true.
But I think it's something you shouldn't be telling kids in the first place.
So if they hit you, that means they like you.
Yeah. Or if they
Like I
keep.
said, sometimes it's true,
Yeah, I
sometimes
mean,
it's
but
not.
it should be regardless to like, I don't know. It just seems like a thing for a recipe for wrong telling. I, I was I don't know, like sometimes getting the signs are, you gotta be careful. You might read a sign wrong. Regardless if you reading body language or whatever, you might read a sign wrong. Because I just watched a video the other day after we talked about body language the other day. You
Mm-hmm.
always remember when they say when you cross your arms, what that mean? If somebody has their arm crossed,
You're uncomfortable.
no, they're uncomfortable or a sign of aggression.
Yeah.
Somebody actually put some, like an FBI or CIA body reading specialist is like that's not necessarily true that a person is hostile. It's more of it's like hugging yourself. It's more self soothing. A lot some or if somebody look up, if they look up to the left or right, I forget which one it is. If they look up to the left, they might be lying, or they look at no. This how people, because a lot of things, and then certain body language changes based on your culture and where you're from. Like they got a tip that they had a spy somewhere in the CIA or something, and they got told who it was, and he basically, he said what gave him away was the way he held his flowers. In America, we kind of hold we hold the rosebuds up high, even at the middle of at the bottom of the stalk, and the flowers go up, from the bottom up. In certain parts of Europe, they hold the stalk up and the flower and the rest of the flowers down, and that's how they found them. So certain body things they can be misinterpreted based on where you're from. And here in America, we had that no. This is from one of the martial art instructors, the owner of the school. Well, here we got like a unspoken 3 foot rule most of the time when we talking.
Or
And
as I like to call it, the bubble.
yeah, the little unspoken 3 foot rule. But in Japan, they don't have a rule. Like, I mean, China, because he went to China to train. He said in China they don't got a, they're like you've been in the military like nuts to ass or that close to you. And he said
Yeah.
they do like, and they will hog spit like that close to you. But here we were like, oh, okay, you a little too close. You're too close. Why you getting so close?
There's
But
too
there's
many
no,
people in China.
huh?
There's too many people in China. I expect them to be that close.
No, but he just no. He's saying that's even when they have space when they in their house. But it's just different things you gotta look for, and some of that body language changes within cultures around here. You know,
Let's just be honest. The whole shit is confusing. People are fickle as fuck. People don't know what the fuck they want, so it's hard to even approach in the damn first place because you don't know whether you gonna get body language that says I like this guy or body language that says I kind of like this guy, but I'm too scared, so I'm not gonna say nothing. And then you saying that with the dumb nigga look, and she's saying that with the deer in headlights look. It's bad on both sides.
you're right. Like a good old friend who won't go talk to that guy because he's too damn. Yeah, I will.
Then I think you cute, and then I talk to you. You got the fucking personality of sandpaper.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh man.
Like,
This is
damn.
Then they blame it on you.
this is not even body language, but this is more like phone language, where like they hit you up, and then you're like, "How are you?" and they're like, "Fine," and then
Mhm.
you're like, "What are you doing?" and they're like, "Nothing." So they give you like one text words answers, but they're the ones that hit you up first. That's one of my biggest pet peeves that people do. Yeah. And then you like for some reason you're trying to start a conversation and they're like not really starting a conversation, and then it's like, why the fuck did you hit me up in the first place if you're not going to say shit?
I hate the people that call you and be like, "Tom,
Come
you
on.
called me."
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, which is why I tell people I'm not a phone person, but I think a lot of women do that. I think they just like because there was one girl I used to date, and she would just stare at me for no reason. And this one we was like skyping.
See, I just said it. The deer in headlights look. That's the classic.
Yeah, like she was saying nothing but stare at me. But it was just like, okay, all right. But well, it was a good transition. And since we're on that, let's talk about societal norms.
You mean
And
societal norms?
so I want to ask, what are what are societal norms that you think should change?
I mean, that's a broad.
That men should only approach. Women can approach too. I think Xavier was saying this too.
What, that only women?
Like, nah, like men shouldn't be the ones who should like approach.
Xavier can't talk. He need to go approach somebody.
No, but he was saying like women can approach too, which I agree with.
Yeah, but I feel I don't know. I heard Washington D.C. got one of the most popular places for women approaching.
Where'd you read that at?
I don't remember. It could have been by white people. I don't know.
Phil, stop it.
It was a long time ago. I read that article,
That's why. Don't bring that shit up.
but nah. I heard of women approaching, but then women have weird ways of trying to approach. They get mad when you don't read it. I
Of
like
Only
course they
one
get mad
girl.
when they don't read it. They get mad when they scoot their butt over and you not fucking them.
I was about to say only one girl I know ever approached me, and I'm not gonna lie, I found it weird, but I also found it kind of enticing.
yeah.
But, but out of my whole 30 years, only one girl I know ever approached me.
I think I only had one girl approach. No, I had two, but one girl approached me in high school. Then she walked out. I was like, damn. I must have looked. She must have thought I was cute. Then looked at me close and was like, nope.
So fucking slippery and they play like they have autism.
And then I had one girl in when I worked at Target approach me, but I really think she only approached me because she couldn't get my best friend. Because
This
he
character just sucks.
I was like, damn. Really? But
so, so is that your societal norms you think you should change, Philip?
um, it's a new one. I wish people would. I think one of the things that get on me about people is always assuming the worst out of people off start. If that makes sense.
Especially men.
Everybody, I don't know. I meet a lot of people, and I think another one is people who swear they act like they don't want to talk to nobody. Like I see that a lot. My biggest, I think, is a societal norm is just always thinking people are doing the work are out to do the worst to you or doing their worst.
Oh, this is the whole trust issues generation.
Yeah,
I think that on Facebook.
I think it's just I don't know. I feel like I've been noticing that since I was younger with even older people, and that's where it trickled down. A
I
lot
think
of
I think it started with us.
now I feel like it trickled down from a lot of older people. It well, it didn't really start with us. I mean, like, because I used to talk to my grandmother a lot, and people used to be way more like. I remember my grandma telling me, "You can leave your door wide open with money on the counter, a glass of water, or you can leave like $200 on your table, your door wide open, and nobody will go in your house and touch it."
I mean, think of the economy at the time. That's why. They probably had their own $200.
No, that it wasn't drugs, but her and somebody else, I can't remember. Another older person told me as soon we start having the crack and stuff into our neighborhoods is when it started to get bad. Um, but it just I see a lot of people always just assume the worst. I ain't saving nobody number. People are just fickle. People just here for temporary. I don't know. I got a lot. I wish people stop taking their relationships or relationship advice from a random meme that Joe Smo that not Joe Smo. I'm sorry. That Slim Bob made in his basement last night on the computer.
Slim Bob from Tekken.
Huh?
Slim Bob from Tekken.
No, Slim Bob from DC from Simple City.
All right. What about you, Father?
You got any
What
more?
was the question again?
Are
Society
there any
norm.
societal norms that you would like to see changed?
I don't know. I ain't really
You
got
said
that much.
one
Other than the
already.
one I just said. Oh,
Mhm.
But well, let's start with this. Is like, what is your idea? Because I've always asked this because because when we talk about things, it's like, and everybody's like we're conforming to like societal normity or social normal normity or however they say it. and I've always felt like half of the stuff is like, what's wrong with it, and why do you have a problem with it?
Mm.
So a lot of people, when I ask them that, they don't really give me a specific answer. So
Mm.
what is to me? So when I ask, what is a social norm to people? So let's start with that. What is a
I
social
mean, a
norm?
social norm to me is heterosexuality. Being straight is a social norm.
Mm. I think it's cultural based too, Ray. Because what we consider normal over here in America wouldn't be normal somewhere else. Oh shoot! You know what? We don't even got to go out and what's considered normal here in DC might not be considered normal in Baltimore, or black versus white social. You know, it was a social norm, but I noticed how white people react to each other, or just people in general. If that makes sense, it's a cultural thing. You know, I know most black people we're raised not to say what, but I know you mean on a bigger scale. I'm trying to think of something. I watched
I
a
mean,
show.
it could be as little as that too. Because
Well, you know, I know a
because
social norm. A social norm. People don't even know why we really do it anymore. Is circumcision.
I
you
like
talking
being
about,
circumcised.
Say what, Father?
I like being circumcised.
No,
yeah,
I'm just saying it's a
I
social
don't want
norm.
to say
But it's a big debate around it nowadays. Is it smart to let a kid get it? It can damage them, or wait till they get older. And I think I heard of one person getting it older, and he said he's like he kind of hated his parents for a little bit because he said that was the most painful thing in the world.
yeah. I mean, that's weird, but
What, that he got a circumcision when he was like 21 or something?
That is uncommon. Well, not
that's
uncommon, but that is weird.
Yeah, because a lot of more people are letting their kids, like, I'm gonna let my kid decide when they get older.
look. All I know is I didn't. I'm glad I got circumcised because I don't want no smegma. All right, I don't need no.
Same.
Yeah, me and there a lot. You know what? I was arguing with some girls and they was like, because one dude, that video of that little dude in Europe, they got that dick cheese, as they call it.
Yeah,
Schmegma.
smegma.
And a couple of girls, they're like, he must have never had a father, but I was like, his father could have been circumcised. They was like, but his father should still tell him about cleaning. I was like, I stopped arguing because I was like, y'all don't understand. Like, I didn't know that was a thing of clean, had them having to clean that extra because of extra skin. Because I, don't have that, you're not gonna think of it. You don't have something, you're not gonna think of it. They weren't getting that.
I mean, there's a couple. I think there's a couple. I had to look some of them up. It's like girls wear pink, boys wear blue. These are gender specific social norms.
I was gonna say, I think I was about to say that before you
But I
brought
don't think
it
there's anything wrong with that.
A lot of people, a lot of people do because
It's only, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you force it, of course, you're not supposed to force your kids, but I don't think there's anything wrong
up.
with
People
boys
force.
being expected to wear red and girls being expected to wear pink. That's their colors.
Yeah, and that's why I think people wanted it in because it's like you were. I mean, nowadays it's a little bit more acceptable, but I remember as soon as you wore pink, you were gay for some reason, or any so-called girl color when they really not purple, yellow, pink.
Yeah, but that's people adding other shit to it. I'm just talking about it being colors.
Mm. Yeah, the colors, and that's how they be treated. The people. Somebody tried to
Yes,
say,
so that shit by itself isn't harmful. Just the whole, oh, if you wear pink, you're gay. Now that's going into sexuality. That's not even colors anymore. Because I could
yeah,
say the same shit. If you wear green, you gay.
no, but I'm saying it goes back to the gender thing because, like, oh, that's normally something women do. Don't get me wrong, there's things that only women and only men should do,
all
but
I know is every baby shower I went to, when they was having a boy, it was blue,
mm,
and they was having a girl, it was pink. Even baby blue. Like baby blue is kind of considered a boy color.
Any shade of blue is boy color.
Yeah.
And no, pink is a shade of red, but for my art students out there.
Here's another gender specific social norm. And we've had this, obviously, we've had this conversation many a times. A
Mhm.
man should pay for a woman's meal when going out to dinner.
I love. Where is Mark? I love.
Where's Mark?
I love his answer.
He said no.
No,
No,
I don't know you.
I don't need. Um, it shouldn't be always when they go out to eat.
I mean, the answer I see popping up that's common is whoever asks should pay.
That too. I think I say I'm gonna keep sharing that video with y'all when I find it. But a dude, I think he gave one a good explanation where he said, if a man doesn't pay when he goes out on a date, he was taught wrong. But if a woman doesn't at least offer to pay, she was taught wrong.
That's I don't
And
know about that.
and he's like, if this is not everybody, but this is kind of me. You go out with your best friend. How do you treat your best friend when you go out? Do you expect them to pay or give you something in return when you go out all the time? But I think that would be a case by case scenario. But I kind of connected with the best friend thing he said.
Okay. And here's another one. Men should do repairs at the house and be the one to work and make money, while women are expected to take care of the housework and children.
Yo,
You know,
is this the 50s?
That's what it says is gender specific, and that's what I've been saying. Like a lot of people still kind of like attend to that, men and women. They
you
feel
know
like
what?
men should be the one to bring home the bacon, and the women should like.
I actually, a girl wrote a status today to something about that, and you know what? Her answer, it was along the lines of men should pay, but she added more. And I was like, that's a different story. I'm trying to see if I can find it. But I don't want to quote it wrong, but she was like, because she was like, when did men start this 50-50 stuff? What happened to wanting to be a provider? And the girl responded, he's supposed to pay all the bills and needs of his queen. I can't date her because she's using queen and children. And the king and the queen gone have should have her own business from home, and that money would be saved for rainy days and unexpected accidents. While the queen is, that's something I can understand and get along with because she's like, I'm still working. I'm just gonna be working from home.
Well, personally, what we told. I've said this before. The way the economy's set up,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, everybody has like two jobs. Even like even in a family, like my mom was working and my father was working. They both had jobs, and there's times where like my mom was making more money than my father, but my father was still the man of the house because their relationship was not built on money. It's more or less built on love, and I guess it was a traditional household. Like he still made decisions, and
So basically, they both stayed in their own lanes.
yeah, but even then, my mom still did what she wanted. Like my mom, obviously, she was big, and then she wanted a gastric bypass. My father was like, "Go ahead." It's like he did what he had to do to make her happy, and obviously, what's another? Here's another gender norm that we've obviously gone over a million times. Men should be strong and not show emotion,
Men are some of the most emotional people.
and that's what I tell people all the fucking time. And obviously you've gone at it on Twitter. I've gone at it on Twitter. We said this many times. Men are emotional. We show it
Very.
differently with women.
And we've literally had women say, that's bullshit. And I'm like, okay.
I I think the prop is like what y'all going at is how we show it and people understanding of what emotion is being showed. I have met guys.
I just think women just want us to cry.
And I keep telling women, emotion isn't always crying.
Not, but see, I know some women. I've seen some women where they think when you're not speaking angrily isn't you not showing emotion, or you running behind them to because or you running behind them when they want to act like they leaving.
What?
Yeah, there's
Remember that
girls.
scene in Martin where it was the first episode where he told her to step. As soon as he got to the door,
Yeah.
he's like, "They want us to do that."
Um, if a man wants to do it, he's gonna do it. If a man's not gonna do it, he's not gonna do it. I don't know what else to tell you.
Like um, I think I saw a thing. Some women. I even had a girl say she couldn't date me for some reason like that, and I was like, "That's stupid," but okay, good thing, dodge the bullet. Because I'm not gonna be the one. You know what? Oh, you don't want me here. You don't need me or something. Okay, I'm out. Well, bye. I'm not about to. I care for you. I might even love you, but I'm not about to play these games with you. Don't need to do that to prove my love. But to them, you need stuff like that. You need. They don't think you showing emotion until you spaz on them in certain ways or crying.
Some women like it when you spaz on them,
Yeah, but that's them thinking you caring when it's not.
but
Oh,
there's a time and a place for that. I'm not the type to spaz. Like me,
I'm not the type to
I'm
argue.
really not the type to lose my composure.
Some wants you to argue with them, and it's like, no, not no. I don't got time for that negative energy. Like, what's the problem? Speak.
I'm saying that was one of the issues that I had with my ex. I wasn't that type to just spaz. She would look at me like something like she be looking at me something like, bro, what is wrong with you? I'm never like seeing you upset, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm always in check. I always check myself.
You know what, Wallace? You know what some people describe you as when try to tell people about you from the school? They
What?
always call you the guy that looks mad and unapproachable.
Oh yeah, I have the stone face, the look of Africa.
Like,
That's the stone face passive. I gotta ward away the undesirables.
but nah, that's how people. I don't know. When it comes to that, like certain people, it's the it's an example of love that they had growing up, or what they thought was love in some aspects.
And I think it's mostly because in middle school I was bullied, so
But
I
like
developed my stone face.
Ray comes from one of the most unique families that I know of because I've never heard people really talk about the type of love that Ray got receiving growing up, which is weird. Which should be more normal.
Yeah, in
I,
a perfect world.
I think the only next person would be what close, probably Xavier, but even his parents' relationship, sometimes the way he talks sounds toxic in ways.
you know what's funny? The way I was brought up, I thought other people was brought up like that too.
Yeah, I mean,
It was. It wasn't until like high school, something like high school, and maybe even sometimes in the Navy, how other people was telling me how they was brought up, and this shit would always bug me out because
mm,
well, first of all, I started to realize during high school that people looked at like when my mother and father were still together that they found that weird. It's like you got mommy and daddy. I
yeah.
was like, and I'll be thinking, don't you? She's like, I don't know my dad, and I'll be like,
You know what? I was listening to an interview, a DJ Light interview with Michael Jai White. Michael Jai White said the same thing about the way he was living and where the crime and violence, the gang banging that he did. He was like he thought the same way. He thought everybody across the country lived that way, and that's the problem with I'm about to go somewhere else with it, but that's the problem with a certain group of people, white people. They thinking the same thing that everybody lives the way they live. Everybody got goes through the same thing they go through. We in the same country, and nobody thinks outside the box sometimes of their perspective.
yeah, and that's why I encourage more people to try to have conversation with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like my grandfather, like yesterday, I was with my grandfather. We went to go get some food, and my grandfather, he was just having conversations with just strangers and all that other stuff. And
I get in the Uber and Lyft and talk to the people in there. I talk to how Wallace was saying earlier how if black people go to Africa or somewhere else, they won't get the love they receive would probably be totally different than what they would expect to get. And I talked to like three and a couple of Ubers I got. It was like three or four different Africans. I forget what they were at. I know one was like from no, I can't remember. I think one was Nigerian. One was damn, I can't remember. But they were all from different places in Africa. When I talked to them about it, it was like, oh, you don't come. He was like, if you don't come back with an American accent, they don't really believe you went over there. They don't. One of them, two of them told me, if you don't come back with a little bit of that accent, they don't believe you actually went over there. One even said it. Black women are the best in a strong African accent.
also,
But
side note, shout out to Kofi Kingston going back to Ghana.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was nice to see.
That was a tearjerker to me.
He should have been there like 10 years ago, but it's okay.
He even said it though. He said it in the story. He was like, he had a chance, but he wanted to pursue wrestling.
Which is
Oh,
fine.
was
They made them Jamaican.
it? Yeah.
it's travel in paradise.
I mean, he pulled it off. But then again,
He
that's
did
because
well.
Ghanaians and Jamaicans are like relatives. They're like distant relatives.
I actually watched a video of Mr. Bombastic. What's his name? Shaggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a video. They asked him to grade the accents, the Jamaican accents from different people. And he pointed out something that I noticed. There's only one movie that did this. He's like, ain't none of these are real. Some are close. Like they did Bushmaster from Luke Cage. They did the John with the Jamaican bobsledding team. That what's that one was called?
Right.
So those were like four movies, and then he was like they close but not there. But he did mention like if they really wanted an accent, nobody could really get because they be speaking that dialect that they speak in patois. And he was like, you need subtitles, and there's only one movie I know that had subtitles.
I was about to say, you actually heard like actual Jamaicans like talk in their native tongue, in their patois.
Yeah,
First of all, patois is funny.
I worked.
Yeah, funny.
I worked with in the Marine Corps. I had a Jamaican chick that talked, and I don't know when she talked it was sexy, but she I heard her talking. I was like, what is it? But no, there's only one movie where they really speak it that I can think of that I know of, and that was Shatters. You can't watch Shatters without the subtitles unless.
Oh yeah.
But now I heard she spoke it in another Jamaican dude in the Marine Corps. They used to speak it together. She'd be on the phone, she'd speak it like talking to her parents. But when them two got together, they spoke it most of the time. It was a dialect of French or something.
Yeah, but yeah, patois is funny like that. Like when I was working at
Especially when
Walmart.
they're mad and that shit is hilarious.
Yeah. when I was working at Walmart and I was working with a bunch of Jamaicans and when they got together, I was like, this accent is so amazing, but I can't understand a fucking word niggas is
You
saying.
can spoke to them, you can make out some things.
Bro, I couldn't make out anything.
You know what? I took from Jamaicans the word grieve because there was this one guy speaking patois in this Twitter video I was watching. He's like, it grieved me, and I'm like, I'm using that. I'm using that from now on. That shit is funny to me when he's. It grieves me how you cut that onion. Like, bruh.
I think I have heard you say that before.
I did say it. I think I said it in Facebook.
One of my
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure you did.
it's not like Jamaican or foreign or anything, but I think one of my favorite slang from somewhere else is "you violating" from New York.
Oh, you violating?
Oh, dead ass son. You
No,
violate.
you violating.
You
You violating.
violate. I like saying dead ass.
Mhm. Bro, I got in an argument with somebody. They was like, "That ass is a Maryland slang," and I was like, "Bro, no, go away, go sit down. You stupid." Nah, it's definitely New York. Everybody knows in New York. That ass, B, son, all come from New York.
Yeah,
And
yeah, whoever said that's an idiot. 'Cause, um,
Instead of Jesus, I say Jesu.
I've
hey,
heard
B,
you do that. I've heard you do.
oh man, but I know the slang. You know what? America is a crazy country because you can people. I like how all black people got almost a similar past in a way, similar childhood, same little cups, same little blankets, but yet our slang and everything else is so different. Our coaches in the neighborhood are different.
Yeah, that's why I get mad when other people was like these people don't speak English or they have these ebonics. And I've always told, well, ebonic, well, they've been speaking ebonics since slavery. One, no one ever speaks perfect English, and two, if we're speaking that way and you don't understand, you're not supposed to understand it.
English has been broken since Shakespeare. Shakespearean English is broken.
Yes, I tell people all the time, Shakespeare invented the word swagger. And people look at me, I was like, look at it, like look at a couple of plays. He's not used the word swagger a couple times. This is not no new shit.
Then English, American English differs from British English.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why. Because actually, America is a combination of a whole bunch of Englishes.
Mm,
That's why we can say like "I be wet" and then you understand what we're saying. But if you say that shit in England, it'd be like the fuck,
I did it.
So
The
or
problem,
I store go to, and we know what you're saying. You couldn't do that shit in French.
yeah. Like
Languages are strict.
I know in Britain they go, "Are you taking a piss?" Which means, "Are you being serious right now?"
Yeah,
You're like, "Are you taking a piss right now?" Is and that
I'm
shit be
gonna go
so
smoke a
funny to
faggot.
me. It's like I'm not using yeah, as an American, you think I'm not using the bathroom. It's like, and then someone has to tell you, no, he means, are you being serious right now? So that so when it comes to like people who's like no one speak English, it was like I get mad at that because Ebonics to me Ebonics is fluent just as fluent as let's say Spanish or like any other language. It's just that because
mhm.
I know when Spanish people they don't want you to know about what the fuck is going
You
on.
know
They
what?
speak Spanish.
Ebonics is a dialect of English, and we need to respect it. That's basically what it is.
I do not speak Ebonics.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just don't want to be looked down upon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I
plus,
remember.
if we really want to talk about it, most people wish they could speak Ebonics.
I know. Yeah, I say this all the I will never forget this. When Isaac Hayes was playing Chef on South Park, he said the best. He said, "I hate it when you white people." I'll paraphrase. He's like, "I hate it when you white people use it. You gotta use the word, yeah, use it to death, and now we gotta make up a new fucking word."
Bruh, I
Yeah,
seen
they
it.
took the dab from us. I know that's not a word, but like
Yeah.
that's one example. They took the
Yeah.
dab from us. What else
I
did they
seen,
take?
I
Get
seen,
jiggy with it.
I seen a tweet that said the internet got white people speaking six different levels of Ebonics from six different states, all in one sentence. I was
All right, I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna put it like this. There's a lot of white people that can't do it because with them it looks awkward. But like they're all white people that speak it and it sounds like natural. So I'll give them that.
Oh, they're the
If
ones
it
that
sounds
do
natural, then
it.
I won't have an issue with it. Just don't say nigga. But yeah.
Okay. All right. And on that note, I'm gonna go ahead in this podcast. It's like almost 2 o'clock. So as usual, we're gonna have our final words, and we're gonna start with first Black Ginger.
And your new NXT Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits. I root for everybody that's black.
All right, father.
I was watching that show on Netflix, When They See Us.
Mhm.
I almost couldn't get past the first episode because I was seething. I was about to fucking boonsault my bed. That's how mad I was.
Is it that bad?
Oh, bruh, the reaching, the amount of reaching that, like, there's a white woman in that show. The amount of reaching that she does. Oh, even talking about it, I'm like getting heated. But I got past the first episode. I had to take breaks because I was getting really mad. And I think I'm on like episode 4 right now. But that show is really good. Like it's raw and it's gritty and like it really pushed it into perspective. But that first episode is gonna piss you off. Like I was even on Twitter today, and like the hashtag came up, and I was just seeing a whole bunch of people talking about, bruh. I'm like shaking. I'm so mad. Like this show is gonna infuriate you.
Oh,
So,
I gotta watch it.
oh yeah, it's really good though. I recommend it. That's a really good show. I think I'm a binge a few more episodes before I go to bed, but that's a really good show.
I'm gonna finish it.
Right. Actually, yeah, you might. You actually got me interested in watching that as soon as I go off of this podcast.
But yeah, so yeah, it's on Netflix. Definitely watch that. And yeah, I'm also a fan of Pose. That show is great. The second season's coming up, and I'm gonna watch that motherfucker.
You know what? I'm gonna watch that too when I get the chance. I'm gonna watch Pose because y'all make that sound real interesting. And
What?
Empire, this Empire is on its last season. I need something else to watch.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about Pose is that's how I want gay characters to be written now. They done set a standard. Like if a gay character in another show is not written, like the amount of like sophistication that Pose puts them in, I don't think it's going to be a good character. They literally set the bar. Almost every character in that show is interesting. Like they're not just gay or trans. Like they're actually interesting.
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they don't Darren Young the shit where he says, "Hey, I'm gay," and then the nigga's like a cinder block. The Sonya Deville has that damn problem too. Yeah, yeah, I'm gay. Look at my girlfriend, cinder block. Mandy Rose's right hand woman.
I feel like they should do something with Sonya Deville too, but
I mean, yeah, she could be cool if she stopped losing.
right.
But yeah, that's my last word. And also, Sub Zero's a hoe.
Zero's a hoe.
um, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I don't know how Peter Dunn's still like impregnating bitches at 50, especially since he's been on TV a couple times being a hoe, a bad one, and like still like impregnating people. Also, what I learned this week is that people should stop talking shit if they hands can't back them up, because the baby done knock a nigga out and like had a videotape of him in his drawers.
That was funny as hell.
I don't care if he got jumped either. I told people all the time, I don't care. I don't care if he got jumped. I know that's like a big problem with you, Phil, because you know that's not a fair fight. But at the same time, you
Huh?
say the guy said he was ready for whatever. So when whatever came, he wasn't ready for it. But that goes to show you, like, if you like,
No, I never said that it wasn't a fair fight. I mean, I don't. I mean, it's a street fight. Ain't too much is gonna be fair, but I'm saying, can you really say it's winning when you jump somebody?
he was on the ground, he was bloody. He was on the ground. You had him bleeding, and then he made a T-shirt out of him. I think the baby won.
Did the baby beat him by itself?
This is what I'm saying. I don't care. 'Cause
No, did baby beat him by himself? Like
from
I'm
what
saying,
I heard, he got.
after he jumped in, then the baby won. I'm just saying. I don't know. I gotta see the video.
Oh no. Well, what for the footage is saying the dude tried to throw a punch and the baby like swung back. But for what I heard, he was jumped. That's what he was saying. He was jumped.
Mm,
But like I said, don't really matter because I don't want what because what happened at the aftermath. I wouldn't want that to happen to like my worst enemy. Like the nigga was bleeding and his pants was on the ground.
mm.
And he told that nigga to pick his pants up, and this nigga had great draws. I'm glad he like if he'd had shit come out of his drawers, that'd have been worse. Cause now he had to kill the baby. But I don't endorse violence like that.
Nah, I'm just saying. I don't think you can call it a win.
I call it a win.
I don't think you can call it. No, I'm saying if he got jumped, you can't call it a win. But he still got his ass beat. It don't stop that. Ain't gonna change the fact that he got his ass beat.
We'll agree to disagree on that.
Okay, you're not getting what I'm saying. I don't think
I,
you
know,
do.
I,
No,
I
you're not.
understand.
I don't think you do. Nope. I don't believe you.
I understand because like I've always said, if you jump a nigga and the nigga don't hit the ground, like the nigga that got jumped won the fight.
Mm.
But let me go ahead and end this. This is you know what. I would like to thank everybody who tuned in and watched. You know what. Let me just say podcast. And right now I'm signing off. Uh, peace, love, and positivity, as Logic would
Oh,
say.
fuck you.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, this is you know what. Let me just say podcast, and I'm signing off. Peace.
I'm mixed.
I'm, shout out to Ellie. I'm mixed black.
Mm. Go for